Saturday, Fire Squad. All right, I want to say it again because it's being recorded. Happy Saturday, Fire Squad. This is KG Killer coming to a city near you to get you your information today on what you need to do to become successful. We do this Saturday training call every Saturday at 11 a.m. sharp. So you want to make sure not only are you on the call, but you get your team on the call because we go over a lot of information and answer a lot of questions that we really can't answer as us leaders in the field because we're really ripping and running so much. So you have an opportunity to come on here, learn what you need to learn, to get the information you need to get, but to also ask as many questions as possible so that you can have success week to week and increase your goals week to week for what you came here to do at Family First Life. So I'm excited about everybody. Great job getting on. I do want to get started right away. We only got an hour, right? And I want to start out with the recognition of some new people who have came and hit some milestones this week, which is super exciting. So these guys are not going to talk because we have so many people to highlight, but we do have two speakers. But guys, when I call your name, we're not going to speak, but we're just going to highlight you. And we're really excited about you because we got a lot of people. So the first person I want to recognize is LaKenya's husband, Brian Mitchell, closed his first sale. So congratulations, Brian. Jamal, congratulations on your first sale. I think I'm saying her name right. Howie, congratulations on your first sale. Rashada, congratulations. Tarsha P, congratulations. And then Amaka, congratulations. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people that got recognized for doing their first sale this past week. So that's exciting. And then the next two people I want to highlight, they did their first hire. The three people. Demetric, I think I'm saying that right. Congratulations. Warren, congratulations. I know Rashada and Evie also hired as well. But we're going to have Rashada and Evie take about 60 seconds each and actually just talk about it because these two ladies, all right, not only just got started, but they're solding out to building an agency. And they hired 3 people in one day, which is so exciting. We're proud of you. So we'll start with Rashada. If you could take 60 seconds, talk about why you're excited and what you did and how you hired 3 people in one day.
Great morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm super excited just to have an opportunity to build an agency and to be able to make money and also show other families how to make money. I came from another insurance company where recruiting was more so, we were more so focused on recruiting. So recruiting for me isn't hard. It's actually fun. And I really enjoy helping other people make money. And the fact that they're already licensed and they were looking for something, that started out with a bigger contract was the main thing that drew their attention. So that's what I'm excited about this morning.
Great job, girlfriend. We are so excited about you. I can't wait to see you again on the scoreboard. And then the next person that we want to talk for about 60 seconds, she just got started the other day and yesterday hired 3 people and she has a bunch more people to hire today. So Evie, we are excited about you, girlfriend. Take a minute, 60 seconds, actually talk about why you're excited and how you did what you did.
Absolutely. Good morning, superstars. Super duper stoked to be here. Hired my first 3 people. I mean, already have a team. So, wherever I go, they go. So I use that to my advantage. Super excited to be here. The opportunity that FFL is providing is bar none. So I'm excited, got a couple of people that were available last night, got them started. I got maybe about another 4 or 5, a mix of non-licensed and licensed. So I am crazy excited. Once I get off this phone, I'm actually going to meet with another young lady, get her started. So it's on and popping, girl.
That is exciting. Great job, guys. Oh, and I do want to highlight someone else. Will actually passed his exam. So congratulations, Will, and congratulations, everybody that got recognized. I do want to jump in, guys, right to convention. This is so important. Please get your notebooks, your notepads, your pens, and write this information down. I know I was just on Facebook, and I'm seeing so many cities that we're having our convention in that have reached its capacity. So you guys do not want to wait to register. We will be in Orlando, Florida, staying at the Convention Marriott right there. All right. You want to make sure that you get there February 4th to the 6th. This is a free event. All right. A free event that can change your entire life. And I always talk about this. We have 2 guys as a major example, Thaddeus and Ryan. You know, these guys have only been here for a year, and they were former police officers, all right, making about 40 to 50 grand after taxes, right? But they went to that convention because they knew that they needed to change what they were doing in order to have financial success and to be successful in family first life. And these guys, as soon as coming back from that convention, I mean, started averaging 40 to 50 grand a month. And I know that you guys see these guys on GroupMe killing it, but you could be that too. But if you don't go, you'll never know. So if you want to know what you're a part of, if you want to grow a business, you not only want to get yourself there, but you want to get your people there. So you can be 6 months ahead of anybody else that didn't go, and you can get everything that you need to know so you can bring back and kill it for you and your family. So again, that is in Orlando, Florida. Space is limited, so register now. Kali will post that either on GroupMe or in the chat below. That is February 4th to the 6th. And we're also going to have a guest speaker, Eric Thomas. He's one of the guest speakers. So guys, you don't want to miss it. All right, so we're going to jump. I'm going to pass it back to Kali, and she's going to highlight the next speaker. Kali, do we got you on?
I'm busy talking on mute. Okay. Congratulations. Congratulations to everybody who either passed their exam, hired their first person, or did their first sale. Many more to come, guys. So this first person that I'm going to call on is, I mean, you guys have heard his name, you know, a lot of different times. And it's because he's, you know, he's a young man. He still lives at home. He's 22 years old, and he's making a whole hell of a lot of money as a 22-year-old living at home. And so he's going to go through how to find annuity money, because I know, you know, you guys are seeing in GroupMe Mike Files getting a bunch of annuities. Jamar is starting to pick up annuities. And so, you know, the thing about annuities, guys, is annuities counts for 10% of your issue paid volume. So if you did an annuity that's 200,000 in volume, if you did a $200,000 annuity, that would count for 20,000 in issue paid premium. So, you know, if you have some big goals, you're trying to get a promotion, you're trying to help your team get to the next level, annuities is definitely the way to go. But the first step comes with, I mean, you know, annuities and simplified issue, you know, life insurance. But the first step is finding the money, because once you find the money, then we can go back and we can get trained on helping the client with the money. But if you don't finding the money is the key. That's the easy part. Well, all of it's easy, but sorry. Okay, so Jamar is going to talk about how to find annuity money. Jamar's going to take like 10 minutes. Jamar, are you there?
Yeah, thank you. Can you hear me okay, Kali?
Yeah, be good.
All right, perfect. So I definitely want to give a big shout out to Kali and all of them, because without this opportunity, I definitely wouldn't be where I am today. But I just wanted to take 10 minutes to pretty much talk about how to find annuities. And it all starts by finding out who needs annuities. So I did a little bit of research so I can give you guys some numbers and facts to pretty much give you the idea of how big the position we are right now to be able to help a lot of families and make a lot of money. So the big question is, who needs an annuity? Whoever needs an annuity is going to be considered a baby boomer. So that's anybody from age 57 to 75 years old. And the reason why I say baby boomers is because that's going to be the closest person that's going to be retiring. And just to give you guys a fact, in the third quarter of 2020, it was about 28.6 million baby boomers that retired. And about 29% of them people had to go back to work because they're scared of COVID or they don't have enough money to retire. So like the biggest thing that I wanted to put on here was, if history repeats itself, we all know about COVID, we know everything about that. But if history repeats itself, in 2008, when we had the big pandemic with the flu, about 29% actually had to go back to work. So that's people that you notice, older people at Walmart's, McDonald's, or back at their old jobs. And that's because they didn't have enough money to retire. because people don't know that mutual funds, you can lose money based off the stock market. So let's just say that history repeats itself. And like I said, about 28.6 million baby boomers retired in 2020. So if 29% of them people can't retire, that's around 80, no, that's around 829,000 people that we need to help. So like the big thing is, how does this help somebody retire? So with an annuity, it guarantees you that you'll never lose money. And the good thing about annuities is, if you guarantee to never lose money, you have a chart from 0%, but they also can gain up to 8% interest off their own money. So this actually puts them in a position that this annuity is going to pay them for the rest of their life. They don't have to go back to Walmart. They don't have to go back to McDonald's or their older job. So the biggest thing too on how to find annuities, I'm actually going to share my screen real quick so I can actually show you guys this inventory sheet. For anybody that doesn't have this inventory sheet right here, please email or call your upline or something like that, because this inventory sheet has 2 golden questions that you only need to ask. So pretty much the first question would be, let's say I'm talking to Kylie or something like that. I'm gonna ask Kylie, hey Kylie, do you have like a 401k, a TSP, a 403b? If she says no, the next question I'm gonna ask her is, does she have anything that she's planning on, like a savings account, an IRA, that's gonna put her in a better position once she retires? So if they say yes to any of them questions, that's going to put them in a position that they may qualify for an annuity. And so like the last thing that I do want to say, so if somebody does have an IRA, if they have a 401k, a TSP, a 403b, that's people that you can help. But let's say that we have somebody that's really stubborn and thinks their 401k is the best thing for them. Well, yeah, I have a 401k, I have this amount of money, and I'm good. So if I can get somebody real quick that I can role play this with, if Kylie or Karyn or somebody wants to hop on real quick.
Go ahead, Jamar.
All right. So my first question would be for you, Kylie. So if you had an option for your whole retirement plan to get taxed, would you want it to get taxed now, later, or never?
Never.
Never. Okay. So that means that you're open to actually listening to what I'm saying as far as annuity. So if somebody says never, okay, that's when you pull out the annuity plan, showing them that, because people don't know off annuities. Let's say you roll over your annuity, Kylie, and you have $100,000. The only money that's going to be taxed is the money that you're taking out. So you're going to get taxed as income, not taxed on the whole entire plan. So like let's say that Kylie said, whoa, how is it like, how can I never be taxed? That's the question that you would tell. Well, like, that's the statement that you would tell them. So, and then like the other 2 questions, I said now or later. So if somebody takes their 401k out now, they're going to be taxed. They're going to have a penalty, everything like that. But let's say somebody says, well, I know it's going to be taxed later because there's no such thing as never. So then the next question that I would ask them, so do you think taxes are going to go up or down in the next 10, 20 years? Obviously, they're going to. Oh, go ahead.
Are we still role playing, right? Up, right?
Yeah.
Taxes going to go up.
Yeah, so let me actually show you this vehicle that's actually going to save you a lot of money, plus it's actually going to grow you a lot of money as well.
Okay.
And then I actually got a little thing that I was looking up to for like my newer agents that don't know anything about annuities, because that was just like myself. FFL has a lot of trainings that actually put you in a position to be successful. So anybody that has YouTube, I'm pretty sure everybody has YouTube. You literally just have to go to FFL annuity training, and you have a bunch of videos pretty much breaking down from the top sellers. Sean Ruggiero is actually a beast at annuities. I was actually talking to Mike yesterday, and he's actually submitted probably like around, I want to guess around like $400,000 to $500,000 in annuities, just based off of this one training from Sean Ruggiero. So the main thing that I pretty much just end this with is pretty much put the time in with these trainings before you actually go into a house trying to sell an annuity and everything like that. And you guys would be surprised on how much money you can make. And then I don't know if that was 10 minutes, but I pretty much can show how you actually get paid off an annuity. So let's say that Kali is a new agent. She never sold an annuity in her life, but she went through a theme, and that person has $100,000 in their 401k. So if somebody has $100,000 in their 401k, Kali would be labeled as the green because she's a new agent. She's never sold an annuity. So what you would do is you would, out of 100,000, you would actually get 5.25%. So something that would take Kali about 30 minutes to an hour to do. Let's say you're a new agent and it takes you 2 hours to help somebody with an annuity. You helping somebody with $100,000 annuity is going to pay you $5,250. So like that just puts you in perspective on how much you can actually get paid off of helping somebody create a station retirement plan for them. And that's pretty much, I'll end it with that, Kali, if anybody has questions or anything like that.
Does anybody got any questions for Jamar?
Hey, Jamar, I have a question. So out of that 100,000, how would that calculate with your issue pay? Would 10% of that go towards your issue pay?
Yeah, so your issue pay would be around 10,000.
Okay.
Just off of that one annuity, yep.
Any other questions?
I have a question, Jamar. Do you have to start with the $100,000 annuity, or is that collective? Like if I did a 20,000 this month and then like a 40,000, how does that work?
Yeah, so like the 100,000 was just an example, but the smallest annuity that you can do, it has to at least be $10,000. So anything from 10,000 to, let's say somebody has $1 million in their account. As long as it's more than 10,000, you can actually show them that annuity plan. If it's an IRA, 403B, TSP, anything.
I think Tanir, I think what Tanir was asking, like as far as getting paid. So is that that's what you're talking about, Tanir?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So the way the comp structure works for annuities is that it's lifetime basically assets under management. So if you did a $20,000 annuity, and then in this example, like if you did a $20,000 annuity, you get paid 5.25%. And then let's say you did another $80,000 annuity, you're going to still get paid 5.25%. But then now you got $100,000 in lifetime assets, right? So then the next time you write an annuity, it's going to be at the 6% rate. So it's not per month, it's how much have you done lifetime, and it starts as low. So the lowest is 5.25%, but depending on agency or individual producer, it goes all the way up to 8.5% that you can get paid on annuities, and it's no matter how long that you've been here, it's lifetime volume. Did that answer your question, Tanir?
Yep, and I wanted the team to hear that. You explained that to me before, but thank you so much. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I have another question. Yeah, I have another question. Do you have to start at the age like baby boomers? Can someone younger get an annuity?
So annuity is someone younger can't get an annuity. The biggest thing about annuities is suitability. And so if you have not if you number one, if you're new or you have not written an annuity, one of the things that you definitely want to do is and you're appointed to a theme, you want to go to a theme and take the training so that you have some more basic understanding about how annuities actually work. And like Jamar was talking about the training with FFL. So damn, I forgot the question. What was the question, Lakeisha?
Can a younger person get an annuity?
Can a younger person get an annuity?
So annuities have everything to do with suitability. Is the client suitable for an annuity? So that's going to depend on their current financial situation, how much, what their net worth is. So it's a lot of things that come into play when we're talking to clients about annuities. But again, like the purpose of the training is really to try to, at this one, is to find out, find the money, and if they uncover the money, and then if they have the money, then we can ask more questions to find out if they are possibly going to be suitable for the product, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we got to move on, guys. Thank you so much, Jamar. If you do have more questions, post them in the chat or get them to your manager, and so we can get you out the answer. But with that being said, great job, Jamar. Appreciate you getting on the call this morning. But with that being said, we are going to call on the next trainer, which is Richard Moore. You there? I didn't even see Richard on the call.
Yeah, Kali, can you hear me okay?
Okay, yep, I can hear you loud and clear. So Rich Moore spoke a couple weeks ago, but Rich Moore is the top producer of the freaking week. In just the first week, we're in week 2 of January. The second week of January, Rich Moore submitted over $17,000 in premium. And Rich, are you speaking at the convention?
The details are not yet ironed out, but I believe so. Yes.
Okay, awesome. So, Rich, let's really quickly, not really quick, take about 15 minutes. Now, I want you to talk about activity and attitude and why those things are important. And I know, like, I've seen people with t-shirts, Frank always has an activity and attitude t-shirt, and people kind of throw that around some.
Right.
But I think if you talk about how important that is, and why, your activity really is going to determine your attitude, and vice versa, right? So if you can go into that, Rich, I think that will help a lot of people. And then talk about what your activity is and what is your attitude, because in order to submit $17,000 in volume, let me ask you this: how many appointments did you set?
I think it was 36 or 34 for that week.
Okay, so you
more
were
or
like
less
crushing.
Yeah.
So let's call it 36, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many applications did you actually write?
I mean, off the top of my head, I don't really know. I know on a given week it's anywhere from 9 to 14. So I'm assuming it was on the higher end of that ladder.
Okay, so about 9 to 14, and then
yeah, something like that.
And I know you had I think I remember seeing last week, like one was like a $5,000 premium, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was actually stacked.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's correct.
Okay. So, Rich, just go ahead, give us about 15 minutes, like talk about your attitude, talk about your activity, talk about what people can do to adjust their activity and their attitude, to be able to produce numbers, even if they're not your kind of numbers, just getting better and doing more with what they have. So go ahead, Rich, take it away.
Yeah, sure thing, Kali. And, first and foremost, I appreciate the opportunity to be on your call and speak with your group. I mean, I'm on a lot of these calls, and I listen to a lot of agencies throughout the entire company. And by far, your call is one of the best. So I appreciate, you allowing me to come on here and share some insight for your people. And also, Jamar, the stats on the baby boomers was really good. I'm completely oblivious to that stuff. So, that was very, very good training on your part as well. And so essentially the topic, attitude and activity, I believe, is a byproduct of your mindset. So there's kind of a lot of ways I could take this conversation, right? But I think, mindset, activity is a byproduct of our mindset, and our thoughts create our mindset. So I think the first question we need to ask ourselves is, what are the conversations we are having with ourselves? Because the old adage is, our thoughts do create our reality. That's 100% accurate. So I think for someone who's newer, it is a process, but what are the conversations you are having with yourself, right? Are you buying leads, and are you operating from a position of uncertainty? Are you saying to yourself, I hope I get the appointments I need. I hope on the phones I can come across the rebuttals properly. I hope in the home I can have the good objection, overcoming that, everything like that. So it's more so, are you operating from a position of, I'm uncertain, I have a plan B. If this doesn't work, I can do something else. Or are your thoughts more so along the lines of, I'm going to tear the third week of January off of the calendar, right? Like next week, I'm going to go above and beyond than what I did the week prior, right? So like that being your thoughts very much so impacts our mindset and our approach. And so the mindset, everybody thinks, they have a bad day in the field. It's something the client said, or they were porched, or they had a poor dial session, things like that. All of that, in my opinion, is not very much relevant at all. Your mindset needs to be, this is you versus you. Every day on the phones, in the field, objections, things like that. Everything is you versus you, and it's all about becoming a better version of yourself. So the old adage, not to quote, a bunch of books or whatever, but I was reading The Art of War last night. It's one of my old favorites by Sun Tzu, and he says, in 1,000 battles, if you know you and your enemy, you will be victorious 100% of the time. If you do not know yourself nor your enemy, you will never be victorious. So you are your own biggest enemy. You have to know yourself. You have to know your weaknesses. You have to know where you were last week and where you want to go next week, next month, the next 6 months, right? So like having that kind of approach and mindset and attitude very much dictates how we set up our weeks, right? So on the phones, for example, do you think having a mindset of, this week I'm going to do far superior than what I did last week, that 100% influences how I buy my leads, how I dial the phones, how I book my schedule? There's many days I have a terrible dial day, but I'll get up, at 7 a.m. on a run day, and I'll keep making phone calls. Or there's many days I dial till 9 p.m. Right. So many people think, quote unquote, a top producer is like someone who's spectacular, right? But it's really just a fanatical approach to getting better, and top producer is a relative statement. I don't think anything under 40,000 is really a lot of premium. And I've never done more than 40,000. I've come close a couple times, but, I think it's important to just continuously keep moving that bar farther away from you and challenging yourself to get better. So, that mindset helps you craft your schedule up right. And that schedule is, of course, the activity, right? So having a mindset like that allows you to easily book. Easily is a relative term, but with an approach where I want to do better than last week, this week I will have over 35 appointments because I'm trying to start the new decade, the new year off strong. My goal is to lead by example. So with that being my mindset, I have no doubt I will be able to have the same amount of appointments and be able to take the uncertainty out of this game that we play, because it is straight commission. A lot of people are not very confident with knowing when they will be paid in a straight commission job. But, with that kind of approach and having a consistent schedule and a strong mindset, being paid is the least of our concerns. So that is really, for the most part, what I have in mind off the top of my head. I think another good thing is when it comes to activity is I do this all the time. I recommend everybody to try this. I write down what my average week is, how much my lead expense was, how many appointments I booked, how many people I sat on. That's an important ratio as well. How many applications I take. So track all that stuff, find out what your normal is, and then find out what your best week is, right? Do those numbers. And then in the third column, write what your next week will be, but just have a very high number. So if you did 600 dials the week prior, challenge yourself to do 900. If you spend $1,000 and you have X as a result, try spending 3,000 for a week. You really can't go wrong if every now and then you try this exercise, and you will be absolutely stunned how much your numbers will multiply, just because you begin gaining this sense of momentum, and things just unfold that I can't really explain when you take things from a mindset of, this is a game, I want to play with the variables, and I bet on myself and I know I'm going to do well. So things with that approach, I highly recommend everybody try that exercise. And then, a quote I have in my car, I have a little sticky note on my car. It says, how would the person I would like to be, do the things I'm about to do? What's the next version of myself look like? And how would he approach, this day that I'm about to do? So that's kind of everything I can think of off the top of my head. Khalid, does that kind of answer your questions, or is there any
Yeah.
follow-ups
So
you got for me?
Rich,
Yeah.
do you have bad days, Rich? In the field, on
Um,
the phone?
yeah, I mean, everyone in my group, we either win or we learn. So we have a lot of
Say that again.
learning
That's
days.
good.
Yeah, we either win or we learn. So we have a lot of days that we learn a ton, Kali. Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
so there's days where you've had, I'm gonna say like 8 to 10 appointments and you haven't closed anything.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. It
And
happened last week, as a matter of fact.
and you've had days where you have 8 to 10 appointments and you didn't sit on anything, or if you did sit, like
That's correct.
it
Yep.
was dumb, like you're like, I'm getting out of here.
Bunch of
Right?
nonsense. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's important, especially for new people, because I think what happens a lot of times when people are new, or not even just new, just in general, people compare.
Right.
And then they say, what I'm saying, well, Rich is in North Carolina and the people in North Carolina are nicer. And you know what I mean? And Rich is just, Rich sounds very smart. You know what I mean? People will try to make reasons why they can't win.
That's
you
right.
know what I mean? And say it's specific to you, but we all go through the same thing. You know what I'm saying? We all go through days where we have appointments, we think we're going, based on, how the conversations went the day before when we're booking appointments, we think it's going to be an amazing day. And then we get out there and we're like, oh my gosh, like, I cannot believe this day is going this way.
Correct. Yes.
You know what I mean? So you know exactly what I'm talking about, like, oh, this is going to be a good day. Or you might sell your first one and you're like, oh shoot, I'm on a roll. And then you don't sell.
It's going to be good. Yeah.
That's right. But, that's where the mindset becomes so important, because if you know that, okay, today's a bad day, but then 2 days from now, I can go back out in the field and my day could be completely different.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think the difference with Family First Life is that we always have hope for the next day.
Correct.
And and people can kind of keep that in mind, or in the back of their mind, like, okay, today was a bad day. Let's separate it from the next day and go out and do the same thing again. And because eventually you will get the results. Am I right, Rich?
100%. Yeah, absolutely. Right? It's just a process.
Yeah, but you have to keep going, and people quit too soon and again, all of it goes back to mindset. And then as far as activity is concerned, when you're busy, you're not worried about dumb shit. Excuse my French.
100% though. You're absolutely right.
So like if you have 8 to 12 appointments in a day, you're not worrying about your upline and what your upline said to you last night. You're thinking about how to get to the next appointment, and how to get, how to keep it moving.
If you have time to like think about things like that, you're just not busy enough, in my opinion. Like I'm so single-minded when I'm like, got my tunnel vision on, and I'm fielding phone calls from other agents in the home. We're always talking about what we're going to do next month, keeping it positive. And we're always talking about like, just what to do in the home, how to get better. Like any drama or anything outside of that does not exist on run days.
Come on.
100%.
Yeah. And then when you got on top of that, when you got money, I mean, everything really comes from your activity, because then when you got money, your money's flowing, you're happier, right?
It changes
a
lot.
Money in your pocket, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then when you go out to see your clients, you don't feel like you have to pressure them into the sale, because number one, I got 10 more appointments for the day. And then I got $10,000 in my bank account. So if you get it or you don't get it, it's fine. Somebody else will. Am I correct? Am I correct?
Absolutely.
So everything. So my point, I guess, is everything is derived from your activity, or a lot of it, and then both goes hand in hand. Like you can't have one without the other. Like you have to have a positive mindset in order to get your activity up. But when your activity's up, that keeps your mindset positive.
That's right. And, a good one I kind of keep in the back of my mind is, the size of the problems that bother you determine like your value. So like if little things get you off track or bother you, it's a self-image thing, right? Like the way, like if you're upset about people get upset about $1,000 chargeback, $500 chargeback, if those things get you rattled, it's simply, you have to realize you're in the beginning of the process. And, nothing really rattles me anymore, to be honest with you. I've had my worst days. I've woken up, big chargebacks, got into a car accident, and I went out and sold 4 appointments. And it's like, it's just a process of like, okay, yes, this did not unfold favorably, but, I'm a bigger person than this problem. This problem is not going to throw me off the rest of my day, my week, etc. Every setback is a setup for a comeback, or just another way for you to, see a potential adversity in some way you can learn from it, or some way you can get better from it, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And then the last thing that I'll say, and I've heard it before, but it didn't make sense from the company I came from, because we weren't really making any money. But
right
now it makes sense. If people, I got these problems, I got this going on. Most times, your problems can be solved with money. You know Absolutely. What I'm saying? Like you just said, like if you got into a car accident that morning, you weren't worried about, do I have $500 or $1,000 to pay my deductible? You know what I'm saying?
Because cross my mind.
Right. Yeah. And so if you had that additional stressor on your mind, your day could have went completely different. Right.
Could have went sideways. Yeah.
Right. But because you're not worried about how I'm gonna get this deductible paid. And if I needed, like, if let's just say your car got totaled, right? Mm-hmm. You got enough money to go, okay, I can just go grab me a rental car real quick. Like, so 100%. When people say, this is not about the money, like, let's be honest with ourselves. The money, the more money you have, the more you can help yourself and your family, and the more you can help other people.
Yeah. I mean, the more resources, allows us more flexibility in our decision making, which means options. Having options gives you control, and control makes me happy. I don't know about everybody else, but when I have resources, I am 1,000% happier. So
absolutely. Me too,
yeah, absolutely.
Does anybody have any questions for Rich, top producer of the week?
I just had a quick question. I'm sorry. I just wanted to know, Rich, really quick. My name is Osman. You mentioned a book earlier, and my phone kept dying. I couldn't catch it that you was reading.
Yeah, man. The book is The Art of War by Sun Tzu. But if you're interested in anything along those lines, I definitely recommend you check out The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. It is like one of my favorite reads. Highly recommend you check it out.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
I had a question for you, Rich. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, because somebody put something in the chat, Andre. Somebody wants to know, Rich, what's the chargeback? They're new.
What's a chargeback? So we are advanced 9 months on our sales, right? So essentially a chargeback is a client either falling off the books and we having to basically pay our commission back on that chargeback. But I mean, when you get really good and you refine your ratios, the chargebacks are so minimal. The chargebacks are so minimal, I don't even recognize them like 80% of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andre?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Rich. I don't know if I came on a little later. Sorry about that. I don't know if you covered it, but I know you're a superstar, bro. I wanted to know how much are you spending on, to submit $17,661 last week. How much did you spend on your lead budget? I don't know if you covered that or not.
No, I didn't, man. And that's a good question. So, I mean, it does vary and fluctuate. I mean, my lead flow is kind of a combination between, Facebook final expense and internet leads. Internet leads have really changed the whole dynamic and the way we do this stuff. So I think that week I only spent around $1,200. I ran a lot of 1-month-old and 3-month-old internet leads. But if anybody's looking to go from whatever they're currently, earning or submitting on a given week, just try doubling or at least adding 50% to their lead budget for the week, and just play with that number for a little while. And, your submit and issue paid will triple.
Gotcha. So when you say that's awesome information, appreciate you, Rich. When you say play with that number for a little while, we're in the numbers business. So when you say what's a little while, is that 2 days? Is
Oh no,
that
that's a
a
great
week?
question. Yeah, so when I first came over here, I had a lot of debt, and I was talking to Mike at length when I first came over here, and he was talking about his lead flow, everything like that. I just wanted to produce more than Mike. My goal was to tell Mike, like, I'm here to stay. I'm gonna produce a lot. I'm gonna be one of your top people. So he told me he was spending anywhere from 1,000, 2,000 a week, and you're gonna find yourself in a position where you're plateauing and you can't seem to break that threshold. For 2 weeks, just double whatever you spend on leads. If you need lead vendors, I am your guy. I'll send you where to buy. But, if you're spending 1,000, swipe your card and get $2 or $3 grand. And it's going to make you uncomfortable, but I'm telling you, the results are so rewarding and fulfilling. And back to the whole resources thing, having those resources makes you very happy as well. So definitely
Wait a minute,
recommend,
Rick. You said spend $2,000 or $3,000 on leads
for a week if you're looking to really break your plateau. If you're looking to break your plateau.
This is not for
So
me. So
spend your mortgage in 1 week. I got you, Rick.
Well, I mean, I usually spend around $1,000 to $1,500. So if I'm behind in the week, if I check Fury's numbers, right, and Karyn and Kali are beating me, I'm like, all right, I got to spend $2,500 this week.
Got it.
So, but
yeah.
Rich. So, but for somebody who's new, right? Spending $2,000 or $3,000 in a week for leads probably sounds insane, right?
Right. Well, this has been a 14-month process. Like,
of course. Okay, that's what I wanted you to say.
Especially, it took me a very long time to get there, but just realize, anybody can improve and get a little bit better. So, like right now, the opportunity we have with age internet leads being so cheap, I didn't have that. Like, that is such a phenomenal advantage to the newer person coming in.
Yeah.
$5 for a lead. That house, I wrote 12 grand in one house, 11 grand was off a $4 lead.
Wow.
That was a 3-month-old internet lead that I just swooped up in abundance. So, I mean, anyone can really, as long as you set yourself up 100 to 150 leads for a dial day for 2 run days. I mean, you really can't go wrong. And then that's after plateauing, after months of finding out what's comfortable, finding out what you normally submit, and then saying to myself, okay, I want to do 30% more. Then you start upping your budget and playing with those variables.
Got you. And so you said you spent $1,200 last week, Rich, for leads. About what you said?
Yep, that's correct.
And then how much did you make?
I mean, well, the 17,000 is I don't know.
I was going to do the math.
I don't know. It's probably on the advanced
about
side.
10 grand.
Give or take something like something a little bit more or less of that number. I really don't add it up until way later. I just keep going.
$1,200 to make 10,000. Let's just even call it. Let's call it 10,000, right?
In the upfront portion, yeah, that's correct, more or less.
Yeah, no, I got you. It could be more than that.
Yeah.
So your return on investment,
it ain't too bad.
100%.
88%.
No, a 900%.
Oh, okay. See, Andre's the number guy. So there you go. 900% return on investment. You can't put your money in the stock market and get that. So, Rich,
I don't know anywhere else you could do that. So.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Rich, thank you so much for your time. I know your time is valuable. I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to be able to talk to everybody on the call. We appreciate you so much, Rich. And for those that are going to the convention, you guys will see Rich in Orlando.
Yes, absolutely. I'm very, very excited. And Kali, I appreciate you once again for allowing me to come on here and speak with you guys.
Thank you, Rich. I appreciate you.
Anytime.
All right, guys, we got about 15 more minutes, and I'm going to real quickly talk. So it kind of goes all together. Real quickly talk about setting goals and breaking those goals down to very small numbers. So the goals are doable or they feel realistic to you. So can y'all see my screen? Somebody, anybody?
Yep.
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah. All right, perfect. All right, so I'm gonna start with let's say the goal is 10,000. Your goal. Oh shoot, that's not the right thing. Your goal is 10,000 in issue paid volume. Okay. So 10,000 in issue paid volume is really just did my calculator out too. I wish I could put my calculator on here. But I'm new with this iPad, y'all, so y'all gotta forgive me. So 10,000 divided by 12. Anybody know why I'm dividing 10,000 by 12? Can somebody answer that?
The premium?
The monthly premium.
Okay.
12. Yeah.
So there's 12 months in a year. Okay. So whenever you guys see these big numbers, and I'm talking more to the new people, 10,000 is the annual premium. So really 10,000 breaks down to be $833.33. So let's just call it 834 is the amount of premium payments that you need to get in a month. Is anybody lost? All 50 people are right on board. All right. So if your goal is 10,000, you need to pick up $834 in premium payments. That means the clients are so let's just say a client has a policy that's at $100 a month. Mm-hmm. Right? So now for the rest of the month, you just need to pick up another $734 in premium payments. And if you take this 834 and divide it to 4 weeks, now it's down, looks even easier. 208 per week is what you need to get. Is everybody with me?
No, Kali.
No.
Yes.
I am zero. I don't know what you're talking about. What you're talking about? 10,000 a premium. What if one wants to write that?
So if your goal is 10,000 in issue paid volume.
Issue paid volume. Okay, so that's premium, right? Okay.
You said what?
Is that premium? I'm confused.
So issue paid. Okay. Let's start with this.
Okay.
So we talk about two kinds of numbers here, guys. We talk about submitted business.
Yes.
And we talk about issue paid business.
Yes.
Submitted is just that you took an application.
Yes.
Okay. So we still have to go through, we don't know, the policy still may have to get approved.
Yes.
Right? The payment still has to come out.
Yes.
So submitted business is really not real business, guys, because it's submitted. So we we don't know what's going to be issue paid. Everything that we talk about here, we talk about promotions, we talk about getting a higher comp, is based on your issue paid volume. Okay. And your issue paid volume is once the policy's approved. So now the policy has been approved.
Oh.
And the first payment has come out from the client's bank.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So issue paid is this is what we need to be focused on is issue paid.
Issue paid. Okay, got it.
So approved policies with payment.
Correct.
That's it. Okay.
So if you have a policy, so let me give you guys an example. So if you have a policy and you post dated for February the 3rd, that's going to count towards February's issue paid numbers. That's not going to count in January.
That's right. Got it. That makes sense.
Okay. Everybody with me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Mute your phone for me, Luce. All
I
right, let me
got a quick
start over.
question, Kylie.
Yes, ma'am.
When Rick was speaking, he said we were advanced 9 months in our sales.
Yes, and that depends on the company. Most companies do advanced 9 months.
Okay.
Okay. So I missed the part with this. So let me start over. So in order to fall on 10,000 issue paid, you probably have to submit. We'll start all the way over. So scratch everything I said earlier. You need to submit about 15,000 in premium in order to, if your goal is 10,000 in issue paid volume. Because like I said, people's payments aren't going to go through. Everybody's not going to get approved. So you got to submit more to land on 10,000 in issue paid volume. So let's say your goal for January is 10,000. Well, let's do February since February's not here yet. Okay. In February, so we need to focus on this number, this $15,000 in submitted volume. And we divide that by 12. And that's $1,250 in premium payments for the month that we need to get from clients. So now I'm gonna take this $1,250 and I'm gonna divide it up into 4 weeks because I got 4 weeks in a month, most months. So now I know I just need to pick up every week $312.50 from my clients. And if I'm going to see about 10 appointments a day, 3 days a week, that's only, what is that, 30 appointments per week? And so if I take this 312 now I got 3 run days in my week. So I take this 312, now divide that by 3, because I have 3 run days. Every run day, I just need to pick up $104 in premium payments for my clients. That's going to have me, I'm going to submit 15,000 in a month, and I will finish with $10,000 in issue paid volume. So our average final expense client pays $80 a month for their life insurance. Our average mortgage protection client pays $160 a month for their life insurance. So if you were doing a final expense client, I see Mr. Jones, his policy is $80 a month tomorrow. Now I know all I need to do tomorrow is get another life insurance policy that's $24 a month. So I've hit my goal for tomorrow's run day. And then I do that again when I run again on Tuesday. Tuesday, I need to pick up $104 in premium payments for my clients. Once I've hit that number, now I know I'm done. I hit my goal for the day and I can move to the next one. But now this 15,000 that I submit doesn't look that scary anymore. And I can fall on $10,000 in issue paid. And depending on my contract, that's going to pay me about $7,500 for the month. And this is if you don't have a team. Who has questions?
Kali, we can't hear you.
What part did you? Okay, well, I can't go.
I heard you.
I was able to hear you.
I was able to hear you.
So, does anybody have any questions?
I just want you to clarify, Kali, is it really like $80 per client? Let's say you have 3 clients, they were able to submit business.
That's
is that
the
how you get
average.
the like, yeah, for average. Let's say average client that we set up 10 appointments, we sat down with 3, and the average appointment that we submitted was $80 per client. Is that what you're trying to say? Or is it $80 for one client?
I'm not sure what you're asking, actually.
Because you're confusing with it's saying like picking up for $80 for a client. I'm sorry, go back to the I think it was like 104 for a client. Is that just for one client? Or
no, that's for the day.
So that's for the entire day. So like totaling for one entire day, you need yeah.
For the day. So your goal is to submit 15,000, Ashley.
No, don't go that far. Start from
I think I need to. So
no, because I'm trying to get to this point. The 104, is it just that one day or is that per sale?
So let me go back. Like I said, so 15,000 is the goal to submit, to fall on 10,000. Okay. I took the 15,000 and I divided that by 12, which gave me $1,250 in premium payments for the month is what I need to pick up. I took the $1,250 and then I divided it by 4 because I have 4 weeks in a month to get the $312.50 that I need to pick up per week. If I'm running 3 days in that week, that just means I need to pick up $104 in premium payments from my clients. So if my first client does a $50 policy, Ashley, now I still got to get another $54 to be on track with my goal for that day. Are you with me?
That's kind of where I want you to get to is the more the average sale.
So the average final expense client pays $80.
Okay.
The average mortgage protection client pays $160. Are there going to be clients that pay less than 80? Absolutely. Are there going to be clients that pay more than 80? Absolutely. That's the average.
Right.
Does that make sense?
So it really wouldn't be a day, would be like, wouldn't be a week. You want them to pick up about $100 a day, really.
That's what I said, $104 a day. That's exactly what I said. I said $104 a day. You said what?
Never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, I said $104 a day when you have 3 run days in a week. When you got 30 appointments, you got three run days a week, 12 run days in the month. You just need to pick up $104 to submit 15,000 in premium. Does that make sense?
I'll figure it out. Thank you.
Okay. The call is recorded, so you can always go back to you always come back to the recording too. Any more questions? We got like 1 minute left.
Carly, you used 12 because it was 12 run days, but if you was running 15 run days, you just use 15 instead?
No. I said I divided it by 12 because that's the annual premium. There's 12 months in the year.
Okay, gotcha.
So instead of me looking at 15,000 is the yearly premium, I broke it down to the monthly premium amount.
Gotcha.
So that I could figure out how much in premium payments I need to pick up for my client on a daily basis. So guys, again, this is just to help you, you can do it any way you want to do it. And 10,000 may not be your goal. 10,000 may be less than your goal. But I'll tell you that, if you want to, you got to have a goal in place, number one. And so a lot of times when you have these big goals, they seem overwhelming. And most people, if their goal is too overwhelming, they won't even try to hit the goal. But if you break the goal down to very small pieces where it doesn't seem so overwhelming, then most people say, okay, I can pick up. Is there anybody on the phone that don't think they can't pick up $104 in premium payments from clients a day and do that 3 days a week? So there's nobody who thinks they can't do that. Absolutely. But I bet you if I asked at the beginning of the call, who can submit 15,000 in volume, most people would have said no. But most people will say, oh, I can 3 days a week, I can get $104 from a client for their life insurance policies if I book 8 to 10 appointments a day. So that's it, guys. We got to wrap up. We are here every Saturday. We will be back on the live dials on the same link around 12:30, so you can jump back on then. But the call is recorded, and so I will post the recording in the group me as soon as the call recording is available to me. So everybody have a great week. Let's go out and kill it. See you guys later. Have a good one. How do I